leadership for me, and how I approach it is I want to be sure that I'm leading by the example.
Correct.
That I want to make sure that uh, the staff knows I'm not asking them to do anything that I'm not willing to do
Yes.
or that
Yes.
I have not done in the past.
Right. Exactly. That's
And I
awesome.
think setting that is really important. I'm not necessarily the one that's going to come, barking orders or saying, get this done now, 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 now. A little more, try and be, try and be building and educate,
Right.
but also trying to lead by that example.
Welcome to the Nicholas Brown Podcast, a podcast talk show about real estate investing, business leadership, and personal development. Each week, we explore current real-life case studies about how to build financial independence through investing in real estate to build your personal portfolio through passive income models, along with interviews from the top business leaders and personal development leaders. Now, here's your host, Nicholas Brown.
Welcome to the show, everyone. I got another episode. It's going to deal with your personal development and your finances, ladies and gentlemen. I know this person is true because we just said time is money. So I'm gonna read off this information and we're gonna get deep into it because he's unique. He's one of the top CPAs on there. Make sure you guys, before I begin, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel where you get more information such as this, where you can learn more and reach out to people like-minded such as this person I have here. And make sure on the podcast channel, make sure you subscribe to the podcast channel so you can get alerts. So at the time, I look forward to seeing this professional come back to another episode, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read the about section, and then we're going to get right into it. As he said, time is money. He's going to explain that. So today's guest is Neil Denman. Neil is a co-partner of Denman, Hamilton and Associates CPA PLLC. Neil is one of the top CPA professionals that tailors unique strategies for maximizing bottom line profits and reducing tax liabilities and risk in your business. For more information, reach out to Neil and his team at www.dhacpa.com. I'm going to repeat that, www.dhacpa.com. Welcome to the show, Neil.
Well, thank you very much for having me today.
Oh, man, I'm excited for you. Ladies, as we're recording this is during the tax season, but as other professionals such as Neil, you do your taxes year round. You take care of, you stay on top of your taxes year round. Am I correct, Neil?
Yeah, that's a real big part of the overall planning strategy. If you really want to be proactive, you can't wait until, right now and think, man, what did I do last year? What can you do for me?
That's right.
Staying on top of the taxes, that's the proactive. That's where you can really get a lot of value add, is by staying on top of that throughout the course of the year.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So as I say, Neil, so I can get the listeners and people that's watching, we focus on three things. We motivate, teach, which I'm going to say what inspired you. That's going to lead to the question. What inspired you, motivated you to move? Something inspired and motivate you. So we motivate, teach, and get your perspective on your field and what's going on. So, Neil, what inspired you to become a CPA in your field?
It's really a little bit of a journey. And the
Okay.
first part of the journey is not real exciting. I
Okay.
went to college a long time ago, and they said, "What are you going to be when you grow up?" Because you had to tell them something. And I said, "I'll do an accountant."
Okay.
So I signed up, and that's what I did. And
Wow.
that part of the story is not real inspiring or motivating, I know, but it's kind of how it evolves throughout time.
Okay.
Because different people have different career paths. Maybe they change careers midway. And a lot can be said for changing the way that you do your accounting practice, part of the way through your career, which is what we did.
Okay.
Always had the vision, when I first started my own practice.
Okay.
I want to be able to sit down with people and talk about their stuff and be strategic and plan. I always want to think, hey man, this business owners come in, we've taken care of their monthly stuff. Let's be planning on what's next. Let's talk about what they've done. Let's look at their budgets. Let's look at their planning. And so much of that was not what the industry was.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. It's a lot of what people stereotype it as. It's a bunch of people working as fast as they can to do tax returns day in, day out, day in and day out as quick as possible. And there's no real value to that. That could be a real commoditized service.
That's the key word, value. Value.
Value.
Right. And you're not robotic, ladies and gentlemen. So that's where it stood out. He's strategic. Everyone's situation is not the same, correct?
Correct. Just because you saw something on the internet or your brother-in-law did it or your next door neighbor doesn't mean it's a real good fit for you. And it could actually be detrimental to what you're doing. So everyone's situation is 100% unique, whether it's in the real estate profession, whether it's in, the insurance profession or anything else. Everyone's unique.
Okay. And that's another point that we're making, which was getting straight to the points, which I appreciate your time, Neil, which, like I said, I need you on another episode so we can go more specific on certain topics, especially I deal with the business owners, which my podcast and the show deals with personal development, business leadership, and real estate investing, which you tie into all three of those because you're a leader. You have people under you, correct?
We do. We've got 8 people here.
Wow.
And
okay.
They range in age from everything from I'm going to call kids, which are 23, 24, up to about 55.
So it varies.
It varies. Yeah.
Right. The leadership techniques varies. Would you agree? Everyone's situation, how you reach someone in your team just varies, correct?
Totally different. Totally different.
Right. So back on there. So who's your ideal client for long term? Because this is what I want to focus, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think you guys don't realize that this is not just tax preparation. He's a certified public accountant. So he has to be unique with your situation, but he can be flexible, which I'm sure, as I stressed that. So what's your ideal client?
Yeah, if we could really break down to long-term, because you want to build long-term relationships with people. What is your long-term, most perfect, ideal client looks like?
Okay.
And we can break it down to it's a business owner whose business is doing at least $750,000 of revenue per year.
Okay.
And they are wanting additional strategic financial services. And that may be somebody that does not have the resources to hire a full-time internal CFO, or maybe they're just using their accountant as an after-the-fact tax preparer. We're looking for someone 750 or above that's looking for long-term strategic planning. That could be cash flow management, that could be budgeting, that could be business decisions, that could be financing options, new business opportunities. Anything that fall into that is we're looking to establish long-term, monthly recurring relationships with people that fall in that category.
Okay, that's a good question that stands out for me and you. We're going to build our relationship. I look forward to building a relationship with you. Being I'm a real estate investor, I deal with cash flow and turnkey properties like Airbnb or midterm deals and wholesaling. You deal with people such as myself also, right?
All the time.
Okay, awesome. So when these, ladies and gentlemen, we see it CFO, you can structure it where you can pay. I can send you information where you pay myself a fee, right? CFO, that's what Chief Financial Officer. So I don't have to touch my taxes where you're set.
Yeah, we help in a lot of different areas.
You structure it that way, rather. You tailor. That's my point.
We're tailoring it to you because, depending on where you are, and someone that's at 750 in revenue, they may be different than someone's at 2 million.
Correct.
But what we're doing is we're working through everybody every month with them.
Gotcha.
We're having monthly meetings. We're saying, man, what did you do this month? Why did you do it this way?
Sure.
We need to consult to be strategic about this. Hey, you've had a big sale, you've had a big refinance. What's that going to do to your tax position? How does it impact your cash flow? Those are the things we're working through with people every month.
That's awesome. So if I had 3 to 4 different types of LLC structures or corporate S corporation, whatever, that's where we're meeting for the structure correctly.
Correct. We're figuring out how it needs structured and how is this structure working each month for you? Because you may have mid to short-term rentals in one, you may have flips in one, you may have lease options in another from a real estate perspective. And all those are a little bit different.
Right.
And we need to be sure we're structuring it so you're getting the most benefit from each of those different business options.
That's awesome. I appreciate it. So give us some tips, or what can you teach? What is something you advise for people that you always see, FAQ, frequently asked question or situation, someone 750 above compared to 2 million plus? What is something you could teach or you advise them to do when they meet a professional such as yourself?
Well, I think the first thing to know that we want to have them talk to them about is, do you understand what your business structure is and why you're doing it?
Sure.
Because believe it or not, a lot of people don't actually know why they've got two LLCs and an S corporation,
Right,
or
right,
an S
right,
corporation and a C corporation and a sole proprietor. Is we
right,
want to understand and make sure they know what they have and why they have it, because a lot of people don't know. They said, well, I did that 10 years ago and that's just what I've done. Well, you've probably changed in 10 years.
right, right, right.
Business has grown, the environment's different. It's just different. So does that situation even make sense for you? So I think that's the most important thing, is really understanding your business structure. The other thing I think is really important, if we want to step back to a tax perspective for a second, because it is tax season,
Sure, sure.
is you've got to be proactive, man. You can't wait till December 30th and say, oh, what can I do for the past year? There's not a lot you can necessarily do to scramble around on December 30th to December
Right.
31st. But if you're working throughout the entire year, we can help with a lot of things, and educating people about that tax planning process throughout the course of the year, because the tax planning is the proactive part that adds value.
Here's the question then. Are you nationwide? Are you
Yes,
just
we are.
okay? Great, great.
We've got clients probably in about 32 states, 33 states.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Because I know that your home base is in Arkansas, correct?
It's in Arkansas.
Okay, yeah. So that's why I was asking, are you nationwide because of the listeners or whatever?
But if you look at the past 2 years, the world's really changed.
Yes, yes.
And video conferencing, while it was accepted 2 years ago, it's really become the norm. So a lot of the
Right.
clients that are even here in town that we were seeing face to face, we do a lot of our meetings via Zoom because they're saving 30, 45 minutes of drive time, and so are we.
That's right.
It's just become a little bit more efficient for everybody.
That's right. Right. And you can do more and communicate more ways and just check off. Like me and you communicate now.
Yeah,
Same structure as your ongoing meetings with your clients. It's
same
sometimes
structure.
okay. So that's why I was nationwide. You hear that, ladies and gentlemen?
Yep.
Okay.
We can do it
So
all online.
okay. Okay. So I'm gonna test you. I
Uh-oh.
just want your perspective.
All right.
Normally I deal with leadership. You are a leader, especially what's going on today as we play this, the worldwide leaders in the mindset. You got some that are pushy, hint, hint, and you got some that are pull, that are gravitize you to want to do business or want to be on their team. I'll follow you, Neil. What is leadership to you?
I think is for leadership for me, and how I approach it is I want to be sure that I'm leading by the example.
Correct.
That I want to make sure that the staff knows I'm not asking them to do anything that I'm not willing to do, or that
Yes.
I have not done in the past.
Right. Exactly. That's
And I
awesome.
think setting that is really important. I'm not necessarily the one that's going to come, barking orders or saying, get this done now, 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 now. A little more, try and be, try and be building and educate,
Right.
but also trying to lead by that example.
That's right. That's right. That's that's a great answer because I think times has changed. So, what is your perspective on today's leadership? And then I'm going to ask you what's your perspective now on CPA. So, the first question is, what is your perspective on today's leadership compared to how many years you've been in your profession?
Man, I've done this a long time.
More than 10? More than 10
way
years?
way more than 10.
Okay, great. So how has things changed? Even if it was 10 weeks, something you can get a perspective, I believe,
Yeah.
on there. You can weigh in. What has changed to you or what has improved to you in your as a leadership? First leadership and then as your profession in CPA. So has things changed in your ways of leading since you've been in your profession over 10 years?
Yeah, I think I've changed some, for
Okay.
sure. And you've always got to evolve. I mean, you're
Yeah,
evolving all the time for better or worse sometimes.
exactly.
Not
Exactly.
always, for the better.
Evolution. Yeah, evolution. Got to evolve. I believe in that. You can't be the same. You can't
Yep.
be pure. So you got to adjust. Like, look at us now. Normally, we would have a meeting. We would have a meeting, set up a time, driving, like you said, 30 or 45
Yeah,
minutes to
totally
get there,
different.
or to lead or speak or whatever. So what has changed, which we're just about done, ladies and gentlemen? I appreciate your time, Neil. What
Yeah.
has changed over your field for CPA? Has things changed to you? What's your perspective on it?
Yeah, I think a lot has changed in the industry. I've done this almost 25 years.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
almost 25. So from a leadership perspective, I think one of the things that's changed a lot is back in the day, you had a lot of very, at least where, in a lot of professions, a lot of very in-your-face leaders that,
Okay.
hey, you've got to get this done no
Right.
matter what. And we're very
Right.
vocal,
Right.
and you hear a lot of horror stories about, the
Right.
yelling's at and
Right.
everything else.
Right.
And I
Right.
think that's really had to evolve because that's not always the way to get the most out of your people.
That's right.
Um, it breaks down relationships.
Yes, sir.
Um, and I think everyone has mellowed out a little bit more, and just a little bit more. Um, maybe the best word for it's a little bit more in touch with what everyone is trying to do and feel.
Right.
Um,
Right. Right.
and not that in your face mentality anymore.
That's right. So today's leaders, which as we speak right now, which one is pushy and which one is more of a pull or magnetized where you're inspired with?
I think it is. I don't think the pushy one is what necessarily attracts people.
Exactly. Yeah.
I,
Which,
I, I
ladies and gentlemen, you know who we're talking about at the time. I'm just saying overall, you can tell. That's why I
yep.
asked you. Things have changed, especially since I was in the military. In my time, I've been out over 20 some years now. Even the generals, even the higher up, have changed their methods. Because I think it's about growth, the way you were built at that time.
Mhm.
But if you spend time and learn someone, and don't just assume, you can go a long way. Like right now, we're building a relationship. I can feel you. I got a pull to you. I gravitize to you. Same way I feel with leadership, don't you? You don't have to push anyone to have
You don't
someone
have to.
follow you. Yeah, they'll gravitize. Like you made the example on that. Like you said, set the example. I wouldn't ask you to do something I wouldn't do. Boom. So
Yeah.
what's happening now? The world is changing, which your profession too. I just wanted to make a point, ladies and gentlemen, which I appreciate you, Neil. Things has changed now where you don't have to push someone for the business, which I don't like pushy people. I'd rather get pulled in, educate me, give me time. Let me ask you a few more questions. Then
Sure.
that's a solid business or a solid decision to me. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I would totally agree. I would totally agree because if we're not asking questions and educating, we're not finding out what's important to you.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, hey Neil, how can they get in contact with you? I definitely need to get another episode on that. Seriously,
Yeah.
whether it's personal or business on there. How can they get in contact? What do you have involved?
Yep. So probably the best way to get in touch with us
Sure.
is probably via email right now.
Really? Okay. Can you
Yep.
get the listeners and the watchers your email? And I'll make sure I put it in your description
Yes.
when I place your
Yep.
episode.
My email is Denman, which is NDENMAN at denmancpa.com.
Great. All right. Well, hey, Neil, I definitely appreciate you, man. Love to have you come on too for personal development because you can tell a story of what's going on. Love to have you come and
We'll do
definitely
that.
for your CPA work also. So thanks for your time, sir.
Well, you're
Thanks
welcome. You have a good rest of your day.
You too. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, as I end all podcast episodes, don't condemn, don't complain because you have a choice to make a change. Have a great day.
Thanks for joining us on the Nicholas Brown Podcast. Make sure to visit our website, www.nickbrowninc.com, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. If you like this show and you are a new real estate investor, then check out one of Nicholas's free reports called the Wholesale Dominator Report, also located on our website, www.nickbrowninc.com/free reports. Be sure to tune in for our next episode. And remember, don't condemn, don't complain, because you have a choice to make a change. Have a great day.